Welcome to Curtin, Malaysia,
an Australian university situated in the vibrant city of Miri,
home to Malaysia's century-old petroleum industry
and gateway to Borneo's spectacular national parks.
This is where expert teaching staff guide students to discovery in the fields of engineering,
science,
commerce,
and the arts.
At Curtin, Malaysia, you receive a global education.
And the distance between the Malaysian and Perth campuses
is no distance at all.
You will learn in world-class facilities.
Or your classroom might be the stunning natural beauty of Borneo.
Here, students from over 45 countries share their culture, knowledge,
and experiences.
And innovation comes from multiple points of view.
Beyond academic achievement, Curtin, Malaysia prides itself on a culture that promotes community engagement
and develops the leaders of tomorrow.
This is where you have the space to study,
achieve,
and discover.
And where colleagues become lifelong friends.
Curtin, Malaysia is about following your passion,
achieving your potential,
and gaining a degree that prepares you for the dynamic global marketplace.
Hello, everyone. Well, good afternoon and hello, fellow Curtin graduates. So my name is Jane and I'm the president of Curtin University Alumni Malaysia chapter. And it's a pleasure to be here today where our chapter, together with Curtin Malaysia, we're going to host the second Curtin Alumni Asia Inspiring Talks, Reimagining Asia in the Post-Pandemic Future. So this is a collaboration between 4 alumni chapters, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, and Sri Lanka, with the first one hosted by CUACI, which is Curtin University Alumni Curtin University Alumni Chapter Indonesia. So the backdrop, posters, and all the fantastic artwork that you've seen were done by CUACI's team. So thank you so much for the fantastic work that everyone has put in to have this webinar. So if you don't already know, Curtin Malaysia is the largest international campus of Curtin, established in Malaysia since 1999. That's 22 years, right? 22 years. In Malaysia this year, study the same course curriculum as students in the main campus in Perth and other Curtin campuses. Our study materials, academic calendar, and exams are also identical. Same quality, but perhaps more affordable in Malaysia. And I always say, Miri is like Perth in Malaysia. So I'm at home, so if you hear dogs barking or, some whatever sounds, please excuse it. And if you hear a cat, maybe a cat will come by sooner or later, then I have my cat at home too. So what we can do is start in Malaysia, then transfer to study abroad later. You have the opportunity to transfer to the main Curtin campus in Perth or branch campuses in Singapore, Dubai, or Mauritius on student exchange, or transfer to complete your degree. So alternatively, you can also do what I did, which is to study 3+0 in Malaysia and then graduate in Perth. So for this round, I chose the theme Follow Your Dreams and Taking Charge. So I'm really honored for Malaysia chapter together with Curtin Malaysia to host this webinar. I'm also very thankful that all the 4 speakers were able to entertain my request to curate their talk to inspire others to take charge of themselves and whatever we can control during these COVID times. So seeing so many helpless posts, on my social media, many are struggling with uncertainty, drowning in ambiguity, which causes so much stress on ourselves and the people we influence. So I really would like this inspiring talk to really shed some light that no matter what we do, there will be countless obstacles and uncertainties, and we need to rise above them. So what better way to have this webinar serve its purpose by having fantastic minds share with us their insights and wisdom. So my fellow chapter member, Julius Tham, who is currently our General Secretary, will be moderating the event. Each speaker will have 20 minutes. And after that, some time for Q&A. So if you have any questions whatsoever for our speakers, please do interact with us and type it into our chat. So let's bring up my fellow moderator, Curtin Alumni Malaysia, Julius. Hi, Julius. How are you?
Hi everyone.
So you are a Curtin Malaysia graduate?
Yes, I am a Curtin Malaysia graduate.
Fantastic. So tell me, what are you doing now, and what's your experience in Curtin Malaysia?
Okay, so first of all, my name is Julius. So I am currently a lead analyst in Heribertus Malaysia, which is a big data analytic company. So I graduated in communications in 2013, 14, I think. So a lot of people would think this is quite a contradiction with whatever I study and whatever I do. But yeah, I think that's one of the things that Curtin gave me. I become quite a generalist, so I can adapt to different situations. So a lot of people say whatever you study in your major might not be true, might not be the one you pursue in the end. So I guess that's applicable in my case, but I still think the university experience actually will shape who I am today. And like you said, Curtin Malaysia. So I really a fan of Curtin Malaysia because I think that place is not too much of fun and not too much and not too boring. So
you have to do nothing but study, right?
Because it has some certain fun, but it's not too much until it distracts your study, and you have everything you need for your study. So it's kind of like a perfect place for you to for your tertiary study. And what else is about the students, the support and things like that. Until now, I'm still communicating with my lecturer back in Curtin Malaysia. Sometimes I'll give some speech to my junior in Curtin Malaysia about data journalism or something like that. So I guess, and sometimes we will have some industrial support between me and my lecturer. So I think this is kind of like the experience that actually Curtin Malaysia offered me. Yeah.
Fantastic. And it's exactly like Perth. So I've been to Perth and I've been to Miri as well. And it's almost very similar. So like you say, enough fun, but not too much fun until, you avoid your studies kind of thing. Okay, so let's continue on with our program for today. We have Simon Lunick, which is our Pro Vice Chancellor, President and Chief Executive of Curtin Malaysia, who also leads Curtin's ASEAN presence and Curtin's largest global campus, which is Malaysia. And with over 3,000 students enrolled in a wide range of programs, the Malaysia campus forms an important part of Curtin's global presence. Formally, Simon is the Associate Deputy Vice Chancellor International at Curtin University. Simon coordinated the university-wide global initiatives in strategic policy, international recruitment and conversion, international partnerships and alliances, and transnational education for Curtin globally. So Simon was very kind to actually do us a video, so let's hear from him.
Hello everyone. I'm really sorry I couldn't be with you today, so I've taped this a couple of days before. First of all, congratulations to you all for being involved in this Asia Inspiring Talks session. We're proud that Malaysia, or more specifically the Curtin University Alumni Malaysia chapter and Curtin Malaysia, are hosting this round of the Curtin Alumni Asia Inspiring Talks after a very successful inaugural round hosted by CUACI, the Indonesian chapter, back in March. As we continue with more rounds in the future, hosted by other chapters, we can look forward to a very strong synergy amongst our alumni chapters in the region. And this has been one of my strong aims as Dean of ASEAN. This, of course, is in addition to other events and hopefully face-to-face events after the pandemic and hopefully in not the too distant future. We need more events like this to bring together our very wide and diverse alumni network in the Indo-Pacific region, to learn and appreciate what our alumni are achieving, wherever they may be, and more importantly, ensure that they stay connected with Curtin University. Our alumni are extremely valuable to Curtin. They are an intrinsic part of our community. The continuing theme today, Reimagining Asia in the Post-Pandemic Future, is apt, as we are still deeply in the grasp of COVID-19. But as always, we look ever forward to a better tomorrow, and with so many high achievers amongst our alumni, we have much to contribute to the world post the pandemic. It's good to know that we have some very distinguished speakers from Malaysia, Kid Chan, Indonesia, Harry, my friend Harry, Singapore, Paul Tham and Paul, good to see you here today, and Sri Lanka, Budima Subasingangsi today. And we have a large audience of alumni right across the region who are following this event live. Special thanks to Jane Tay and her team, and of course my marketing and communications team of Nick, Arthur, Catherine and Melissa, who always do such a fantastic job. Jane is a real driving force, and along with Dean, I've taken the Malaysian chapter so far, and I thank them for that. There has been fantastic collaboration and support between Jane and our team on Curtin Malaysia campus, and I hope that this just keeps growing over the years. Thanks also to the strong support of our alumni team in Perth, Caroline, Zoe and the others in the alumni and community relations team. They are doing a lot and working with a lot of the chapters, and I'm sure you'll see that this is the product of their work. It's good to see that the Curtin Global Initiative is going strong and extended to alumni chapters as well. In fact, alumni becoming one of the very most important pillars of the One Curtin Global Initiative. I wish you all the best today, every success. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Simon. So who's next?
Next we have Zoe Law. She's the Alumni and Community Relationship Coordinator at Perth Bentley Campus in Western Australia. So she managed the portfolio of Faculty of Health Science, Business and Law and Humanity, and also support the Curtin Malaysia Alumni Chapter. So she has been with the alumni team for 2 years, and her current role now is within the University Advancement Team at Curtin University. So she will give us a little bit update about what is happening. So welcome, Zoe.
Hi, Zoe.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Julius and Jane. Thank you so much for having me today. It's so wonderful to be on board. As Julius mentioned, I'm one of the Alumni Community Relations coordinators here in Perth in the University Advancement Team, and manage a few different faculties. And I've had the pleasure of working with the Curtin Alumni Malaysia chapter, and had some contact with a few of the other international chapters, which has been wonderful. It's so wonderful to see everyone here based all over the world. I'm here in Perth on Whadjuk Noongar country, and I'd like to do acknowledgement to country. So I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which I'm here today, and welcome you through Zoom online, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. We're very grateful to teach, learn and build our communities here in Perth and across the world with everyone tuning here online today, which is wonderful. To echo Simon's comments, it's so fantastic to see our international chapters collaborating together for the second Curtin Alumni Asia Inspiring Talks, and some really wonderful synergies happening, and just goes to show that the fantastic work our chapters are doing is coming to fruition. And I'm very excited to hear from all the speakers today. So congratulations to Jane and Harry for bringing together all of our chapters on another great collaboration. So really wonderful job there. So at Curtin Perth, we've had a few things happening. So our new Vice-Chancellor, we've welcomed in April. So Professor Harleen Hayne started in April this year with us, and she's already doing some really great things for the university. So she's originally from the United States, and Harleen's worked as the Vice-Chancellor for University Otago in New Zealand, and also in various roles in academia and stuff like that, higher education. So Harleen's vision, she was really excited to develop, the highest standard of global education and really maximise that student experience for all of our students here on campus and also abroad as well. So at all of our international campuses, to helping make it a really vibrant student experience for people. and to also foster and help research to tackle those big issues facing our region in Australia and also across the world. As Simon mentioned, all the issues we're still having with COVID and learning to adapt and those sorts of things. So, just developing that over the next few years. We're really excited to see her help with more good things to come here at Curtin. So there's also been a lot happening in the University Advancement team in Perth. So I'll give you a few little updates about that. So our new Curtin Friends website has recently launched. I think just I mentioned it at the last Alumni Asia Talks, which has been really fantastic. The team have been working very hard on that, which is great. So we've got a whole lot of new graduate stories and donor stories and brand new layouts and how you can support Curtin in lots of different ways. So feel free to go and have a look at our new website, which is great. So that's at alumniandgive.curtin.edu.au. And we've also updated our chapter handbook, which is a big project that I was working on to help our domestic and international chapters and really working to support them in the best way possible and to help them, be really self-sufficient. As we know, a lot of our international chapters are doing great things on their own, and, we're able to support here in Perth from our end as well. We've also recently closed the nominations for the Alumni Awards, which are coming up in next year in February 2022. So that's going to coincide with the graduation ceremonies, which is a new thing for us. So that'd be exciting to sort of create a bit of extra buzz and bring the graduates back to, so where it all began back at Curtin for them. So we're very excited for that coming up as well. We'll definitely keep you updated on that event too for next year. So as part of our new vision that our Chief Advancement Officer, Tim McInnes, has had for the University Advancement team, we're excited to be expanding our team into 2022, which is really wonderful. So we're currently recruiting a head of advancement for each faculty, and this will help build advancement capacity and connect on a more meaningful level with our graduates. So that'll be across different faculties and also to eventually build small teams within each faculty. And this will be really great for our international chapters and our international collaborations and campuses to build capacity and sort of really expand those meaningful relationships we have connecting globally and locally and everything like that. We're also underway for our major alumni annual appeal. So we've got a really great cause this year. I think just I mentioned it at our last Alumni Asia talk. So it's for the Mordich Yoga Scholarship Program. So Mordich Yoga means strong woman in Noongar language of Western Australia's southwest. And the scholarship program will support mature age Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander women, so to come help them study at Curtin and give them the support and mentoring and guidance that they need to help them achieve their dreams. And that's what we're here about today. So to follow your dreams and really do some wonderful things for yourself and your community. And as part of the scholarship program, we'll be hosting a major event in October. So that's happening on October 17th at the Perth Convention Centre. So unfortunately, we won't be able to live stream the event this time, but we're hoping to make this an annual event that will happen each year. And as part of the appeal, we're hoping to live stream that event. So all of our international campuses will be able to connect with us there, which will be wonderful. And we're going to have a couple of keynote speakers. So Kathy Freeman and Christine Arnoon, a bit of a Q&A and a panel discussion. Kathy Freeman was the first Australian Aboriginal person to become a Commonwealth Games gold medalist, and she was only 16 years old, which is really exciting, in 1990. So, and then went on to win gold in 2000 at the next Olympics, which was really cool. And we'll also have Christine Arnoon, who's an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander woman and pop singer-songwriter. So she'll be performing her song, My Island Home. So keep an eye out for that. It'll be really exciting. So event invitations coming out soon. And we encourage you to share information about the scholarship online and to your networks and consider donating as well, which should be really wonderful. So yeah, there's a lot happening here in Perth and also, at our international campuses and with our chapters. So again, a big thank you to our international chapters and Jane and Harry for coordinating this event. Please, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Julius or Jane or Harry, and they can connect you with myself and the alumni team. So yeah, thank you all, and I'm sure today will be a wonderful event. So well done, everyone. And I think we're going to be passing to a Curtin Malaysia video. So let's have a look at that, and I'll pass back to Jane and Julius. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, Zoe.
Thanks,
So let's
Zoe.
watch the video.
you're ready for change, we're ready for you. Join us. Change is here.
Wow, so that's a very interesting video from
Yeah.
Malaysia.
Almost can't recognize my school.
I think they did a fantastic job. So right now, let's introduce all the speakers. We have Harry, who graduated in public health. Is it okay if I mention the year? 2015. Paul, who graduated in 1989, which is the second year after Wade was transformed to Curtin University. And he's a Bachelor of Commerce, Finance, and Marketing guy. So, that's exactly my major. So that's my Sifu. Then we have Kid, who graduated in 1998, Bachelor of Commerce in International Business. And also Budima, graduated 2013 in Information Technology. Hi.
Hi, say hi. Everyone say hi.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi. How are you guys? Good to have you guys here with us. Thank you guys so much for spending the time. So I'm going to ask you a quick question before you start. What is your best Curtin experience? I will ask Harry first.
Oh, thank you, Jane. Thank you, Julius. Yeah. My best Curtin experience, I think every moment is, I don't know, I really miss Curtin very much, like the uni life particularly. I would say maybe the Curtin volunteer, because we can explore the remote areas in Western Australia as well. So yeah, Curtin volunteer.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So Paul, what about you?
Oh, certainly the multicultural dimension, even during that time. Of course, something that I experienced and all of you will be envy of is the transformation of Curtin University. Right, so I witnessed the transformation on that very day. It became Curtin. So there was I forgot, was it a big celebration or whatever in front of the Swan Pond. The Swan Pond is still around. So the good things are still around. There's a lot of new buildings, but the old 400 plus buildings are still there, except 410 medicines today. So my best experience is truly the multicultural and the transformation into Curtin University.
Wow. What about you, Kid?
Hi, Jane. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you, Jane, Harry, and Julius for organizing this and together to join the illustrious panel with Paul and also Dr. Budima. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. So now I had a very robust student life, and in full transparency, I hope I don't get quoted by my children. My best Curtin experience was actually the food, first and foremost, and also the clubbing. My final semester, loading is 5 units, but I somehow managed to do 7 units in my final semester. I would pack them into 2 days. Don't try this, guys. In a week, and 3 days was spent at clubbing. Yeah, I'll tell the rest later. So back to you, Jane.
Right, Julius, why don't you?
Yeah, so we have the last, which is Dr. Budima. So can you tell us your best experience with Curtin?
Well, yes. Speaking of my experience, I think I truly agree with Paul when he said transformation. It's really a university that helps us transform to really find who we are. I truly believe that Curtin helped me investigate who I was and explore and discover myself to understand what potential I have because of the challenges that we go through in the global experience we get with the industry engagement we go through. I truly believe it's a fantastic experience that help us grow, not only inside, but also with the people who we associate with, the experiences that we gain. And it's so much more that helps us transform to become better leaders. That's a wonderful experience that has really impacted my life.
Wow,
Good to
that's
hear that.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow. So I'm looking forward to hear more from you guys. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave Julius to start moderating and introducing our first speaker. So, and I'll see you guys at the end, okay, when everyone has finished. So I'll see you guys later.
Okay. So everyone, to start the event, we will be starting with Harry giving his speech first. So let me give everyone a little bit background about Harry. So Harry is a public health enthusiast. So he's very passionate about science and health promotion, especially on tobacco controls, behavioral change, and social determinants of health. So Harry has a master's degree in public health, which graduated from Curtin, Malaysia, Australia, Curtin University, Australia, and have worked more than 10 years in the health development program in Indonesia and Timor-Leste. So one of the most significant projects he directed was the child marriage prevention project with UNICEF in Bon, South Sulawesi. With UNICEF, Harry and the team developed a baseline and the end-line measures and organized behavioral change initiative involving local religious and community leaders. So the experience actually transformed into an academic article published by The Lancet, a reputative journals on public health interventions. So he also played a leadership role for systemic projects, Stop Midlife Evaluations in 2020, the Hamutuk Formative Research in Timor-Leste in 2017, and Save the Children's Formative Research in 2019. So his expertise is always in the association relations, regressions, and survey large causal relationship. And he is now working for the Tulodo, Indonesia as Deputy Director for the program. So let's welcome Harry.
Yeah, thank you, Julius, for the introduction. Thank you very much.
So from here, you will be presenting about child marriage, right?
Yeah. My presentation title actually is "Privilege to Dreams." As a twist, actually, I will explore more about the project I've been working on for these past 2 years, Julius. It's about child marriage prevention and also a little bit about menstrual health management in Indonesia. So I think it's quite relevant with the title Reimagining ASEAN in the post-pandemic future, right?
Great. I'm looking forward for it. So let's pass the stage to Harry.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Julius, for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope all is well with you and your family. And thank you very much for joining us in this webinar. I know it's Saturday afternoon, but thank you very much for joining us. I want to say hello first for my fellow alumni in Indonesia. I hope you also safe and healthy in Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore. Thank you very much, Jane, and also Curtin Alumni Malaysia chapter that organized this event. It's really great that we can have this second series of this Curtin Alumni Inspiring Talks. I hope that in the future we can have more collaboration like this with other chapters. We still have Singapore, Sri Lanka, Hong Kong, Australia. We have so many alumni chapter that we can have the collaboration in the future. So yeah, I would share my slide presentation first. Okay. Is it? Thank you, Arthur. Yeah. So this is my presentation. The title is "Privilege to Dream." But I would like to explore more. I would like to invite you all to experience about the child marriage in Asia. Particularly, I will give example in Indonesia. And this is like one of my question will be: is sky the limit? Because sometimes we have heard about this motivation quotes. Don't give up. Never. Don't give up for your dreams. Keep dreaming. The sky is your limit. But yeah, it's not. Child marriage become the issue that makes most of the some of us, particularly children, they cannot pursue their dreams. So yeah, the next slide. Yeah. So this one. So this is the future generation, the children. So I would say I would define the children first. So it's everyone everyone under the 18 years old. It's based on the UNICEF definition. And this is actually the project I've been working on for these 2 years in Bone, South Sulawesi. It's actually located near Kalimantan, and also in Sulawesi. And one of the problem that we have in Indonesia, I think it's not only Indonesia, because we also did the study, we compare with other countries as well, that child marriage remains a social issue in Indonesia. And I work in Tulodo, and we have this project to. First of all, we have this project to explore why child marriage exists in South Sulawesi, one of our project area, and then what can be done in this area so that child marriage can be reduced. For example, we can propose intervention, doing intervention program, campaign, etc., etc. So in these 2 years, I really learned a lot about child marriage, even though my public health. But then this is kind of new things also for me, because child marriage health. I will explore more about how child marriage and health have this connection, interconnected with each other, and what is impact of child marriage, and also why we need to prevent, and also we need to fight against child marriage. So yeah, child marriage is any formal marriage or informal union where one or both parties are under 18 years of age, and children as the vulnerable group, particularly girls. I will show you the statistic of child marriage in the world. So this is the top 10 countries with the highest child marriage prevalence in the world. As you can see, it's the first one is Niger. It's 76%. So it's 7 out of 10 girls in Niger. They experience child marriage. And also in Central African Republic, it's 61%. It means that 6 out of 10 girls in Central African Republic experience child marriage. You can see in the list is like the top one is Chad, and then Mali, Mozambique, Burkina Faso, South Sudan, even Bangladesh. This is the first country in Asia that appear in the top 10 of the list. Bangladesh is 51%. It means that 5 out of 10 girls experience child marriage in Bangladesh. So, if you can see here in the next graphic, is that the mapping of the child marriage prevalence or child marriage prevalence in the world. The first will be the West and Central Africa is the highest one. It's 41%, as you can see. So, around 4 out of 10 children experience child marriage in average. And then, if you can see here, Eastern and Southern Africa is the second one, 35%. And then followed by South Asia is 30%. And as you can see, East Asia and Pacific, the average is 7%. If you can see, it's like below, 7%. And the average of the world is 21%. So if you can see, this like 2 out of 10 children, they experience child marriage. I would show you what happened in Asia, because it's still in the world. So this is Asia, the portrait of child marriage in some countries in Asia. If you want to obtain the data in the database, you can scan this barcode. I provide this link to UNICEF data. It's updated in March 2021. So if you can see here, this is the list of countries in Asia, some countries actually. So you can see here, the first one will be Laos. People's Democratic Republic is the highest one in Southeast Asia. As you can see, the girls there is 33%. So it means that 3 out of 10 girls in Laos, they experience child marriage. And also the male for the child marriage for boys also high in Laos, because like that is 11%. So 1 out of 10 boys under 18 years old, they experience child marriage. We have here Indonesia, Singapore. Singapore is 0, so congratulations to Singapore. You have 0% of child marriage. And then we have this. Some countries haven't obtained. UNICEF haven't obtained the data from some countries. But then you can see that it's still high. It's like still high, above 10%, above 15% in Southeast Asia. Even I also show here like Sri Lanka. It's 10% also. 1 out of 10 girls experience child marriage. Indonesia, we have around 16% for girls and 5% for boys. So it's high, even in Philippines, Myanmar, Thailand, Timor-Leste, and also Vietnam. So let's see what happened in Indonesia. Child marriage in Indonesia. So we have 34 provinces in Indonesia. As in, and you can see in my slide that 21 provinces. So it's 2/3 of the provinces in Indonesia still have high prevalence of child marriage. So the average of child marriage in Indonesia is 10%, but then 21 provinces have this above the average. So it means that we have a long way to go to fight against child marriage. And the first one will be Bubble Islands, Bangka Belitung Islands. It's located here. It's near Singapore. It's here. And also the second one is Kalimantan. Kalimantan is located near here. It's here. It's near Sarawak, neighboring with Sarawak. And yeah, it's quite a lot here in Kalimantan, Sulawesi, and many other provinces. And the least prevalent is Jakarta. Is the capital. DKI Jakarta is just around 1.4%. So maybe it's different also between the urban areas and also remote areas. Maybe will contribute to child marriage as well. So this is the contributing factors to child marriage. Maybe some of you may be wondering, child marriage why still exists? I think it's from our grandmothers our grandmother's era, grandparents. Even my mother, maybe our mother, they don't experience child marriage. Yeah, that's true. But actually, it still happen in our countries as well. That many people, like many children, they are having risk to be married in early age. And the contributing factors is quite many. As you can see, I present here like 10, 11 contributing factors, but actually like there are more. And there is no single factor contributing to child marriage. It's usually like interrelated, interconnected one to each other. When I did the baseline research with my Tulodo team in Bone 2 years ago, 2019, we found that unwanted pregnancy, like one of the most contributing factor to child marriage. Unwanted pregnancy. It means that reproductive health, like puberty, like knowledge to puberty, knowledge to sexual health, reproductive health need to be improved because like there are still like happening unwanted pregnancy. And then the second one is economic factors. It's usually happen because the family it's not really have enough money to the family to contribute to their family, and we can use the word like sell the girls. When someone like propose the girls, oh yeah, you can marry because we don't have any money, and then it happens. Economic factor it still happen in many areas, including family pressure. In some culture also, like they want, for example, the grandmothers, they want to see the grandchild because they want to see the grandchild early. Before I die, please just marry. I want to see grandchild early, for example, like that. We heard about that kind of reason when we did the baseline study, we did the research. It's like, oh really? The grandmothers, they want to see the grandchild early? Oh wow. And then the arranged marriage, it still happen because like the parents know with each other, and then and then they want like just, oh yeah, we know you that we have this potential bride, just married with he or she. And this education level as well, it's interconnected with the education level, and child marriage is quite the causes, and also it's interconnected each other. For example, like in some areas, children cannot continue the schools, and then he or she needs to dropping out of school. When it happens, and then the parents will be like, just married because you're not in school anymore, and just married and you can have better life, for example, like that. Including child marriage also because they need to marry, and then in some cases, like because also the girls experience unwanted pregnancy, they have to drop out of school like with the they have to drop off school. And also Dori practice, it's interconnected with the culture as well. And also in some areas dating. Even in some areas Indonesia, just dating, it means that you have to marry. In some areas, in some culture in Indonesia, just dating. For example, if I and a girl like just dating, and then my parents know about my relationship, in some areas they will just, you need to marry, you have to marry, because if no, I will be embarrassed if people knows that you are dating, something like that. So it happens a lot in some areas, including our area, our intervention area. I will let you know about it. I will tell you more about this, including the culture or tradition. For example, Siri. Siri is local language in Sulawesi. Is for the embarrassed. We feel embarrassed for because someone doing something that not appropriately culture, for example. And then the position of woman. Some in some patriarchy culture, the woman they don't have voice to negotiate. I found like in 2019 that when child marriage happened, even the girls like they were not engaged in the proposal ceremony. So the girls will just hide in the room, and then the parents with the parents, they will have this discussion in the guest room, in the living room. But the girls will hide in the room or behind the house, and then they will just they will just obey. They just have to need to obey their parents' decision. So the girls, they don't have any voice to fight against the child marriage. They don't have the kind of power in some areas. And also religion. In some religion style, there is still this have this long debate whether in some religion, they are allowed to marry it like under 18 years, because they have this belief that it is allowed. It's still happen. And also we found that it's quite interesting, children aspiration, because the children already also want to marry early because of the influence of the social media, and they see like this influencer, social media influencer, like they still young but they married and they happy. So the children, some of them like also have this aspiration. Okay, so what is the relation with the pandemic as well? Because the topic is about the reimagination Asia, right? Reimagination Asia in the post-pandemic future. So we got this some articles that pandemic also contribute to the child marriage. It also increased the child marriage because pandemic has impact on the education. No more schools. And then children just stay at home, and then parents like just see, they're just at home. Why just marry of them with some, if we have this proposal, something like that. And then this is my our research that published in the Lancet in March 2021. So if you are curious about what's happening in Indonesia, and then it can be one of the reference. So the title is One Household, Two Words, Differences of Perception Towards Child Marriage Among Adolescent Children and Adults in Indonesia. So actually it kind of portrayed any differences between parents' point of view, or parents' perception, and also children about how they see or they see about the child marriage issue. And it's quite interesting because there is some difference. There is some difference about whether like child marriage have benefits. There are some different. Overall, this research like we found that 1 out of 5 or 4 parents still thinks that child marriage have any positive benefit, like increased financial security, increased pride, something like that. And also some of the adolescents, children, they also think that when they have they experience the menstruation for the first time, it also sign that they can be married, something like that. So this kind of perception that we need still to work on. Like, it is not like that. If you get your first menstruation, it doesn't mean that you're ready to marry. It's still like a long way. Marriage is not about the menstruation, change of the biological, but it's like more complex dimension, something like that. The impacts quite vary. You can see in my slide here in health, like they are the girls like biologically not ready, and then maternal health, mortality for mothers and the babies, even mental health, depression, because like they are not ready to have this kind of household life. And even like for adults, like they need to think like very very carefully before they married, right? But when they're children and they need to marry, it's like, oh my god, they're still kid and they have to like take care of the baby. So 15 16 years, 15 years, 10 years, they have to have this baby, because yeah, something like that. And dropping out of school, child labor, and also low income. Low income because they cannot have this education. They cannot pursue. They cannot have this high level of education. They have to drop out of school, so they will not have this job, the proper job. So it will impact on the economic instability also and poverty, and also dispute and divorce. Many divorce because like they haven't have this opportunity like to yeah, and also like domestic violence, and also low human development index. I will be a little bit faster, sorry. Yeah. So this is my favorite framework for monitor and evaluate the child marriage intervention in Indonesia. And also this is called behavior change wheels. Yeah, this is behavior change wheels. Actually, it's will show you about the green one is the source of behavior. We usually use this to explore the determinants or the motivation or the opportunities of capability of the parents and also household and also children. And also we have the red one is a type of intervention that we can be done to prevent and also to end child marriage. And also the gray one is about the policy categories. What have this government done for contributing in the child marriage prevention issues? So this is an example from Indonesia. So what have we done? Actually, Indonesia have this regulation. We have this national strategy to prevent child marriage from Bappenas, and also we have this law. We have revised the law actually in 2019. So previously, like girls allowed to marry when they reach 16 years of age. But then in 2019, the girls, the women they can marry if they reach age 19 years old. Even the same for men. We also have this call center for children. If they have this problem, they can call this call center. Also in Indonesia, they have several campaign. We have this Jo Kawin Bocah in East Java, for example, as community mobilization and campaigns for preventing child marriage, and also some for improving menstrual health management. And this is one from Tulodo. Julius, I hope I still have time.
Yeah, if you want to make it faster.
Oh, sure. Okay. I will.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. This one, and the third one here is what we did with UNICEF and Tulodo, and also in Bone government in South Sulawesi. It's under the Gerakan Berani program. So we conducted quite a lot of intervention on the community. We did a lot of trainings to improve their knowledge, and then we produced these communication materials to improve their knowledge, board games, storybooks, and also movie screening, etc., etc. And also we asked them to make this reusable menstruation pad, so they can improve their knowledge and also about the menstrual hygiene as well. So yeah, let's join the fight against child marriage. I mean, like, not all of us working in the development areas, but actually we can. I think we can contribute to fight against child marriage as well. For example, if you were in like creative agency, journalists, you can like start like having conversational with this issue like this.
Thank you
So
very much, Harry, for your
yeah,
sharing. I think this is
yeah,
quite
Julius,
inspiring
this is
for us
my
to
last
know
line.
more about the
Cool, cool,
child
cool.
marriage problem. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think we are a little bit rushed now. So I'll have to introduce the next speaker.
Cool,
So
cool.
yeah, thank you very much, Harry. Thanks for
No
sharing.
worries. Thank you, thank you.
Very insightful. Yeah. So next next in line for us is Paul Tham. So he is a Curtin graduate in 1989. So I guess it's really a senior of us. So he has more than hi Paul.
Hello, hi,
Yeah,
everyone.
so he have more than 30 years experience in IT industry, holding various senior positions from sales to marketing, consumer service, business management to partnership management with leading IT multinational company. So he has extensive business management in Asia Pacific, include Japan, Australia, and People's Republic of China, working in large US multinational companies such as HP, Compaq, Digital Computer Corporate, Sun Microsystems, and Oracles. So Paul is a commercially focused and seasonal professionals in developing business and managing partnership for large multinational companies with extensive knowledge in IT and education sectors. So Paul, would you mind sharing with us what are you going to talk about? What are you going to share with us today?
Yeah, I thought the topic that is really good and relevant is really how we emerge stronger in the new normal.
Okay.
I mean, every day we see bleak news coming out, right?
Mhm.
Guess how many of people in the world are affected by COVID-19?
Yep.
It's close to 200 million today. How
Yeah.
many has lost their life? More than
Yeah.
4 million. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we are
we
looking
shouldn't
forward
be
for your
brooding about it.
presentation. Yeah. So we are looking for your presentation. So I will pass the stage to you.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
Thank
your
you
show.
for having me. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Jane, for organizing this. It's really an excellent opportunity. A very good mix of topics, pretty much the word diversity, right? Even the speakers as well, like myself, representing the pioneer of Curtin University. And of course, we have new graduates as well. I mean, many people are listening in. So again, I thought when Jane asked me to do an inspiring talk, I thought about it and say nothing better than how do we emerge stronger in a new normal. As you know, I mentioned to Julius earlier, every day we hear the bad news coming out, and it is what it is, right? So we have to face it. But have brood over it is not the answer. Worried about it is not the answer. I think, of course, we have to stay safe and stay united. But more importantly is that take advantage of this crisis of a generation to create opportunity of a generation. It's just like spring cleaning, right? Every new year, we want to do spring cleaning. It's during this time, we want to relook at it and start to refresh in the new year. So this is what I call the new normal. Put it this way, with or without the current situation, things are changing and changing so rapidly without us knowing it. Disruption are everywhere, technological disruption, trade disruption, etc. And of course, consumer expectation has changed and has shifted, right? And the classic that all of us know is that we have shifted from brick and mortar into electronic. So, electronic shopping is the name of the game. So it is happening. But COVID-19, as all of us know, it actually accelerated in real speed, right? Really quick acceleration of this thing. Is this like the perfect storm, a business tsunami? So there are new words that comes out as a result of that, pivoting, utility. By the way, utility model is not something very new today. It has been existent for years, right? Created by the IT companies in the early 2000s. Essential, right? We know what is essential duties now versus non-essential. So in the past, every duty is every duty. Frontline duty versus backline duties are more or less not so much of a distinction. But I think today it's very clear. The frontliners, especially the medical professionals, especially the people who works in custom, immigration, even storekeepers, people who sell food to us in the market, they are all essential workers, right? They cannot work from home per se. And that's why we have the next one, FWA, which is flexible work arrangements, something that's been around for years. Work from home has been around for years. Co-working has been around, but people shy away from doing co-working. People like to show off their big offices, big, real estate, but people shy away from doing co-working. But today, it becomes a reality. I just share one example, right? You heard of nightlife cannot continue. There are family karaoke, family KTVs that has pivoted to become co-working studios. You look at it, the technology are more or less the same. They need a very good sound system. They need very good video. They need to have a very good screen. They need to have a soundproof room. But instead of singing, now we do what we do today. You can run a conference. You can do meeting with your staff. Telecommuting has been around, but it has changed our life since then. Today, there's nothing stopping a company from hiring an employee from Jakarta or Harry's hometown, and yet it can be a Singapore company, and yet Harry do not have to leave his hometown, get a work permit to work in another country. It can happen with technology. Virtual, there we are, virtual. So we have speakers from all the countries, not just only Curtin, from one Curtin, but from different places coming together, and more places of people watching it through YouTube and Facebook Live. So in the future, blended, be it education and so on, will be a very blended model. So instead of having to spend millions of dollars, thousands of dollars to create an event, you can reduce the cost down and be as richful. I'm not advocating that everything got to go to virtual, and therefore it could be blended. Cloud. I have gone through it on cloud. It's so good now. I used to have lots of storage devices, right? Trying to keep this file, that file all over the place. Now it's all centralized, and it's so convenient. And it's so much so that you don't feel, having to be too worried about it. Yes, there will be downtime, but it's minimized. Digitalization, I will talk about it later. Innovation, telemedicines as well. I used to work for a company called Polycom. We invented telemedicines during 2006. It was early for its time. People was laughing at us. What is telemedicine? How can you get a doctor to examine a patient where he's not even in front of the doctor? But today, it's not just a reality, it is a must. So I just want to share with the folks that there's so much things that's coming out. Of course, you have cybersecurity, you have Zoom becomes a word. Same thing, this is a company I used to work with. I didn't work for them, but it's my customer. They were so small and people were laughing at them. And today, it becomes a real need for almost every business and individual. And of course, you have things that's truly directly related to COVID. You got PCR, you got ART, antigen rapid tests, you got safe distancing, you got quarantine. By the way, quarantine during my time is only meant for animals. When we bring our pet dogs from one country to another, you quarantine the pet dogs. But today, we have to be quarantined as well. Is it going to be the new normal? That be part of it? Don't know. Remains to be seen. So, how do we navigate our way to success to the new normal? Right? As I mentioned earlier, crisis of a generation presents opportunity of a generation. So I would encourage folks listening in, be it you're working for people, you're executive management, you're a manager, or you're your own business person, think about it. I just want to just give this inspiring talk for us to think laterally that there's so much that we can do in a downtime like this. I think we all study in Curtin, for those who study in business, right? Business development. We used to what we call downtime to do business development. We stop doing business and we go into a 1-week retreat and start to brainstorm what you're going to do in the next, in the next era. But now I think it's a good time to really plan, a lot of things for the next era. Things that we can never think of can be done. As I alluded, a lot of examples are happening, right? KTV is transforming to become what they call solid telecommuting offices. I have seen in shopping centers, they actually take away some of the kids playing places and convert into what we call fully automated studios. It's a little studio where it's fully automated. People just go and book it, pay the credit card or the QR code, and then they can use the place finished, pack their bags, and just go away. Contactless in that sense, truly. And yet, they are contacted with all the people that they want to contact. So remember, especially for me in my era, business as usual is pretty good enough, right? BAU used to be called BAU. We used to have a business unit called BAU, business as usual. Very important at that time to say business as usual is always good. Don't rock the boat when you don't have to. No more. You have to rock the boat. Change is happening at an unprecedented rate. COVID has driven it more. We have to change because we have to respond to what COVID has done to all of us. Think of COVID really like the World War. Nobody is safe. No country is spared, regardless of a big country or a small dot like Singapore, regardless of a rich country, whether you're a G7, G20 country, or a developing country or a third world country. It is all affected. Everyone, no one is spared. So on the sideline, technological changes are happening at exponential rate. People have no choice nowadays. Look at e-commerce. For the last 5-6 years, it has been growing at a very slow rate, but it has been an exponential rate. Innovation itself is really very accelerated. Everything can now be connected. So I just want to share how do we get ready. I will just share in two aspects of it. The soft part and the physical part, psychology and physical. I think why I say that is because in a pandemic like this, in a crisis like this, be it in the future, other smaller crises, the emotion is something that is affecting us. And if you know how to manage it, EI is a culture that has already been with a lot of corporations. It's part of making changes. It's part of connecting with people, management and staff, management to management. But I think even more important today that it is meant for everyone. You look at it, in the current crisis, sad to say, the suicide rate has gone up. I'm not as statistical as Harry, sorry, because I didn't do enough statistical research. I want to just give a soft approach. I don't have statistics. But if you look through the news today, the suicidal rate in a lot of places has gone up. People relate it more to, it's because of the economic crisis and things like that. I would say 50% is attributed. The other 50% is really the emotion. The nobody helping them. They don't hear something comforting, and therefore, it becomes, why are they having more problems between people, right? In the current situation, we work with the people that we don't usually work with, and that is our other half, our husband or our wife, the children. We're all at home working together in one small space. Some are luckier, they have big space. And like Jane say, you have the dog bark, so also working with the dog. So, we don't work with the normal people that we work with like in the past. Then the people who want to work with you don't get to see you. That's your bosses, your colleague. So therefore, that what we call that the split can create a fair bit of misunderstanding sometimes, and therefore if you know how to handle it, and after today, just be more aware of words that you can use. For example, how are you today? I'm great, I'm good, I'm bad, I'm sad. Or how are you feeling today? I feel great, I feel refreshed. So just to share with you, the two things are very different. the way we want to phrase it, the way we want to present ourselves is, one of it is a permanent thing. I am is more of identity. That means it's a very long time it lasts. Whereas I feel infers to be a moment. So for example, I'm sad, but people will use I'm sad, I feel sad pretty much 50-50. I'm angry, I feel angry 50-50. But I think after today, I hope that we can be more cautious to say, okay, if I am means I'm really angry with you. That means it will last for a long time. But I feel angry means I just feel angry for a moment because of certain thing that sparked it. I'm disappointed, I feel disappointed. People will tend to still feel more than am, right? Because the disappointment is clearly can be more of a moment of a specific time. Okay, feeling confident is the same thing. Procrastinate, people will say, I procrastinate more than I'm a procrastinator, because we all know if I'm a procrastinator, it means forever I procrastinate. I procrastinate, it means that for this particular event. So just one of the aspects of it. Now, I think emotions by itself, there's a lot of things, like, for example, I just pick up Aristotle, that 9 types of emotions: anger, friendship, fear, shame, kindness, pity, indignation, envy, love. Then we have Charles Darwin, we have 30 types. Even blushing is some sort of emotion, as Charles Darwin research shows. And then you have also Robert Furtick also have 8 different types of emotions. So emotional intelligence is really, in a nutshell, the ability to relate, acquire, and apply a person's emotions. Right? So we'll be more aware of things, we'll know how to apply for it, we know how to act on it. So EI begins when we are aware of what we are feeling, and then deciding how we're going to respond to it. And you have to be done quite spontaneous in that sense. So the more we can handle it, the better it is. Of course, some of us will say there's also the EQ aspect of things. Today, I will only just talk about the EI. So emotions truly shouldn't be our identity. Do not make it that it is identity. Then the other party will receive it as if, you are telling them some strong messaging. But just want to make sure that it is, try to make it just like a moment of significance. Just only for that moment, I feel that way. So therefore, how you manage it is the 4 A's. First is to acknowledge, know one's thoughts and the emotions, and accept it. Right? So how to one can't help how one feel, right? So you have to accept it and be clear about it. Then assess, claim one's space, and then see how it motivates the value and the intention. And finally is to act on it. Success is the action. So always must have the action, in relate to that particular moments of significance. So very quickly, I try to go to the other aspect of it, which is digitalization. How to become stronger. To become stronger is to really prepare for a new future, the new normal, something that we can, take this time to prepare for it, right? You're going to have to do self-destruction. We have to change certain businesses, stop doing certain things that we do, and do new things. Be there to take some quantum leaps. Always challenge ourselves. We'll say, oh, this cannot be done, that can't be done, right? So a lot of things we have to really, really start to challenge ourselves. Why not? It's possible. So we challenge existing paradigms. Take some bold risks, right? You have to take a bold risk and say, let me try, right? For example, most of my staff don't work in my office anymore. They don't even work in Singapore, right? In Singapore, it gets a lot tougher now, especially in the current pandemic, in terms of getting a work pass. All right. I send them back home. Of course, negatively is I kick them out. But positively is that I bring them back to their families. They are reunited with their families. They still hold their job. They still get the same thing done. And since one is doing the the what business, it is really truly the fact that we also can be closer to the customers if we are doing international business as well. So sometimes instead of traveling in the past, right, to different countries and locations, you can have the staff in locale, understand the local culture, and be able to work together. So that's one approach of it.
Hi, Paul.
So finally is to accept failures. So how to do it is really, this is a chart. Okay, you could spend some time to go through it, but I generally run through the 4 different zones, from comfort zone to fear zone, learning zone, and the growth zone. So in terms of all these things, one have to look at comfort zone is always, I don't want to change, low risk, no reward. Normally people will tend not to talk about low reward, no risk, sure, okay one, sure can work one, safe and sound. The fear zone is the next one. You get out of the comfort zone is something that you don't know, and you're affected by others' opinions. People outside the circle will tell you all kinds of opinion about themselves. It is just an opinion, right? Then you go to the learning zone. Then that's where you start to attend more training, development, right? You extend the comfort zone. You get new skills. Start to understand more before you know whether it can or cannot be done. And finally, into the growth zone. So this is what I suggest that we can do. I just give a couple of examples of what technology can change in the supply chain technology. It is real. The new normal is actually here. Automated logistic park with automated.
Paul? Yeah, hi. Paul. Thanks for sharing. I mean, until this part, because I think we are running kind of like short of time. So,
sorry.
Yeah, for your presentation, I think it's very interesting. I mean, it's telling about emotional intelligence and how are we going to enhance our own well-being in this challenging time. So actually, to summarize the whole things, right? What is your advice for people who are ready to, I mean, they might not be ready, but they want to be step into their other zone, into their fear zone, into their growth zone. What is the single most important thing that you think one people need to have?
Look for a reliable mentor. Right? Mentoring is the best way to go about it. I won't want to say training, because training depends on what type of training you get into. Again, you'll be hearing different aspects of things. Get a mentor, a reliable mentor.
Okay, so yeah, that's really insightful sharing, especially in current times when everybody have some emotional challenge, when everyone locked at home and they can't even communicate with humans the way it used to be, right?
Yeah,
right.
right.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Paul. So next we have Kit with us for the next session. So Kit, let me give a little bit introduction about Kit. So he is graduated from Curtin in 1998. He has, for close to 20 years, he is a Malaysia-based international celebrity photographer. So he has been the behind-the-scenes go-to person for the personal branding and positioning needs of many high-profile personalities in the region. As a bestseller author, his articles and photos are often published in many prestigious publications, including covers for The Star, which is one of the biggest news in Malaysia. I mean, for those who are not in Malaysia, and New Straits Times, Harper Bazaar, Prestige, Tatler, and many more. So he has a much sought after speakers and educator who has spoken in many groups, including the inaugural of TED Cross KL. So named by Tatler as one of the 100% you must know in Asia. His subjects include Tan Sri Dr. Zati Akmal Aziz, who is the former governor of Malaysia, Bank Negara Malaysia, and Sherry Blair, wife of former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, and Dato' Siti Nurhaliza is a Hollywood A-list, and including Hollywood A-list such as Jackie Chan, Tan Sri Michelle Yeoh, and other Fox business tycoon like Tan Sri Dr. Francis Yeoh, and many others. So he also worked with a lot of leading corporates such as Pfizer, which is some corporate we're very familiar now, and Lee Cordon Bleu, if I pronounce it correctly, this is French, and CNBC, Mercedes-Benz, and others. So he also named by Malaysia Business as 30 successful under 40 self-made Malaysians. So welcome, Kit, with us.
Thank you so much, Julius, for the kind introduction. So are we ready to go?
Okay, so yeah, I'll pass the session to you.
Thank you so much. Wow, I just want to come back to what an amazing two speakers that have presided, what a tough act to follow. And I want to just circle back to the question that earlier they had, what is our most memorable time in Curtin, which is actually all the friends that we make. And today you could see the amazing network that we have. People like Julius, people like Jane, who do the heavy lifting, organizing this particular talk. And of course, we have Pak Harry from Indonesia, who's tackling the very serious issue that we should be tackling. And of course, we have very experienced corporate leaders like Paul, who just shared about reimagining the future. So without further ado, I'm so honored and humbled to be invited to speak. And I'm going to do a quick dive because my presentation is normally 1.5 hours long, but I will do it in 20 minutes. So let the time begin. Okay, so my presentation is Network Like Kitchen. Now, so before I start, I just want just take a step back. The most important thing that we want to remember during this time, we know we are all in the same storm, but everybody have a different boat. But I just want to take a step back. I just start by saying, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, today is present, today is a gift. That's why it's called present. So with that in place, just think about it. I want you to pause about everything, forget everything for a while, and just think about it. XX is the year that you have graduated from Curtin, and present is 2020. Okay, and then we will move on in 10 years' time. It will be 2031. Imagine your age today, the age that you graduated, and the age you're going to be. Now, just backtrack from the day that you graduated from Curtin or Curtin when you were in Australia, because John Curtin is actually a prime minister who led Australia out of the dark age. So in Malaysia, we call it Curtin, we colloquialize it. So has our goals, has our responsibility, has our dreams, vision, and purpose changed? I hope it did. I hope it did, right? So I'm now 43 years old. I have 3 kids. Definitely, it changed from 10 years ago before I have kids, and 20 years ago when I was still studying. So likewise. So why is this important? Because it's going to lead you into the conversation that I'm going to talk about, which is a bit about networking and personal branding. If you foresee your goals, vision, purpose, and responsibility is going to change, they say the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The next best time is now, because a personal brand and networking, a personal brand is the last pivot that you ever have to make, because you take people along the journey and people grow with you. With that, I'm going to jump straight into it. So just a very simple rule. Be open-minded. Imagine you're just jumping out of this plane. Do you want your parachute to open? Yeah, that's why, of course, you do, right? So they say a mind is like a parachute. It only works when it's open. Don't take everything. You don't have to trust this for the rest of life. But the next 15 minutes or so, just humor me and just take it all in. Just like you pick for buffet, you try everything, but you might not like it. But you take what you like and you drop what you do. Number 2 is participate, because normally I took to live audience. They are in hundreds and thousands. I get a lot of energy, but today I can't see all of you. So do give me feedback. Do fire the chat if you. Because these are like the feedback for speakers like myself, and then you give me more energy to serve you guys. Number 3 is take action. People think information and knowledge is everything. Well, there's an information action fallacy. Information for one, understanding it is second, taking action is 3, taking action consistently is 4. And that's why a lot of people, although they have the same information, they're very different results. So I urge you to take action and test it out. If it works for you, it works for you. Without further ado, I'll just jump straight. So first thing first, I'm not a big shot, but it's small shots that keep shooting. I love showing this picture because why? Because this was when I was 30 years old, and I just want to like to reminded that if all the things like we are not careful with all the little habits, we can turn out very bad. At that time, I had pre-diabetic, I have blurred vision, I was peeing blood, I have a lot of change a lot of problems and with my health, but with just more adjustment and changes, and I'm in the best of health today. In fact, I think I'm fitter now than I was in 20s. So the thing is, like, we are yet the best version of ourselves. So I'm not a big shot, but a small shots that keep shooting. With that, just want to just now, Julius already introduced myself. I'm an international portrait photographer. I'm also founder of a community called V3 Circle. If an app called Clubhouse, I'm very active there. So primarily, we have worked with a lot of Forbes-listed billionaire across Asia, Hollywood A-listers like Jackie Chan, Michelle Yeoh, Jimmy Choo. And if you're in Malaysia, we have photographed the 4 living prime ministers of Malaysia. So moving on forward, these are some of the work they do. So what's networking and personal branding? So we ask, I'm not going to tell you which one is more important. So basically, a lot of people, just a bit of joke, because I come from the older generation, right? So the thing is, like, those days the joke was, we know how to work, but we do not know how to brand ourselves. But today, a lot of people know how to brand themselves. They look so good, they show up so nicely on social media, but you do not but you do not have a network, to add value to. So the thing is, like, you have a personal brand and you don't have network, is what we call syok sendiri. You're just happy yourself. But if you have a big network, everybody knows you, but you do not have a personal brand that people could trust, that's even worse, because no one wants to deal with you. No one wants to be associated with you. Do you know some famous people that no one want to be associated to? Yeah, of course. Okay, so when I was young, so people ask me which one is more important. So when I was young, I had a very clear view of things of life, of moral. There's black and white. But as I got older, right, I realized it's not black or white. A whole shade of gray. So people ask me, is personal branding more important than networking? Well, actually, it's both. Yeah. So with that, I'm not going to tell you. So personal branding is like one view. Networking is like another view. You cannot bicycle. You cannot cycle with just one view, right? Very, very hard. So I'm not going to tell you why these are so important. You're going to tell me if this is important. I'm going to show you a series of statements very quickly. If it's important for you, you just press the corresponding number, and then we will go on and we'll share what are some of the things that you could do. Okay. So the first statement is personal branding and networking important. Now, personal branding can help widen circle of acquaintances. If it's important for you, please type 1. Yeah. Okay. I see some. Okay. So personal branding and networking can lead to job or business opportunity. Who think that's important? If yes, please type 2. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Personal branding can increase knowledge and insider news and trends. Who want to be left behind? No one, right? Thank you for your 3. Yep. Thank you. Next, we will go on. Personal branding can develop with relationship with people and companies that we may do business with in the future. How is that important? Of course, it's important. Future employer, future employee, future big client. And today, the world is really just like what Paul said. It's a shrinking world. Yeah. So I can't imagine. Actually, on parallel to speaking on this conference, I'm actually running another room as well. Collectively, in that room, there's 17 countries that are connected. Yeah, we're on a forum. We're on a platform called Clubhouse. So the world is very, very small. So do stay connected. I'm very active on Clubhouse. Very active on Instagram. Yeah. So next. Personal branding is important to develop different revenue stream. Is that important? Yeah, with the technical expertise. Today, the world is your oyster. We are so connected, yeah. And if you can sell your knowledge, that's amazing. So I just in this COVID alone, I done speaking online, I've done training online, and I've done marketing online, and those are different revenue streams that are actually built. If you want more information, you can always connect me offline. We also talk about e-commerce, how we collaborate and build businesses together. So personal branding can increase your influence and authority. Is that important? If it's important, type 6. Yeah. So most people think, oh, so shady. Oh, yeah. It's like, yeah. I used to think like that. It's like so proud of your own. But the thing is, like, it is only a problem if you hoard all your influence and authority to yourself. But if you give it back to the community and you add community, then you are actually doing the community and the world a better favor, because you be the best version of yourself and the world can tap on that gift. So because as iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another, none of us is going to be better than all of us. That's why I love the Curtin community. I consistently come back to connect and share and also learn from the other amazing alumni, just like Harry and Paul. And of course, I'm looking forward to Dr. Budima sharing very, very shortly. Next, can develop self-confidence. How can personal branding and networking develop self-confidence? The thing is like, anything you do in life alone, is very lonely. Why? Alone, lonely lah. So imagine you want to build six-pack, you go to the gym, you did it alone, and you did 4 hours of running, and you did 4 hours of bodybuilding, you feel good. Next day you went again, and then the following day you wake up, oh, it's so tired. And then you look at your body, right? You thought six-pack was a good idea, then you look at your body and you say, oh, one pack also not such a bad idea. But if you have a coach that encourages you, that's supposed to happen, because your body is healing, and the community to encourage you and nurture you and to be accountable. Yeah, the word is called leverage. That will build confidence as well. It can gain support for your goals and cause. As I said, if you hoard everything for yourself, that's very, very selfish. But if you give it away, get it and give it away, that's where the best gift that you could give. So can develop long-lasting relationship. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know one thing? Your parents was once what you call it, strangers. Yeah, so friends are strangers we have yet to meet. Okay, so if you have a personal brand, people want to be friends with you and create that new word, and you can collaborate in future and maybe even build life together, right? So of course, and personal branding can multiply your talent pool. Just imagine, tell me, just type in the chat, who is your favorite Avengers? Some will be Spider-Man, some will be Iron Man, some will be no, Superman is not there, don't trick me. Some will be, Black Panther, but they are all powerful. Why do they need to come together? Because they have a cause beyond themselves. Like even all of us could be rock stars. Like, I say I like the fellowship and the friendship. If you're from Malaysia, do you know the world funniest man, Harif Iskandar, is also from Curtin? Our top content creator, Ginny Boy, is also from Curtin. Our top feng shui master, Datuk Joey Yap, was actually my classmate, and they are just in Malaysia alone. What about all the other alumni? That's why when we come together, we give to the common good. So I love Curtin. Please stay connected, okay? So this is just a bit of my story, so that I want to show, not to impress you, but just to impress upon you. I wasn't born a networker. I wasn't born a personal brander. I just want to tell you what happened. So when I was young, my father was quite well off. And unfortunately, at 14, he lost everything. As a result of that, I couldn't. As a result of that, I learned money is not everything, but not having money cannot. But through two very benevolent and charitable gentlemen and lady, I finished my studies. And frankly, I said I overloaded 7 units in the last semester. If I didn't do that, right, I would not have money to graduate from Curtin, because that was the peak of Asia financial crisis. I think some of the older folks here will remember. And long story short, after that, I started my first job. I was headhunted by a very renowned educationist. Long story short, he gave me a car, he gave me a go-kart and a phone, and about 200 staff I'm sort of like a gatekeeper. So I was very ego and puffed up. But after 2 years, I got kind of burned out. I got a burnout and wanted to pursue a photography career. And that's when, through my network, which is my best friend's dad from high school, introduced me. I wanted to start a photography studio, and this is 20 years ago. He introduced me to one mentor. He recommended me to another mentor. And this mentor, the first day I work, from having car, credit card, and everything, right? What's my first task? My first task was actually to wash toilets. You felt so, you say, Curtin, all the way Australia, come back, need to wash toilet. So the thing is like, remember this, guys. I just want to share with you this story. In life, people think the good things never end, but it does. And the bad things, they also think the bad things never end, but it does. This too shall pass. Because remember, at 14, I was having a great life. The world is my oyster. Suddenly, everything changes. And when I went to wash toilet, you would have pitied me. But years later, my mentor actually told me, kid, None of my protege actually have to wash my toilet. Then I say, hey, why are you so lucky? Then he was like, never mind that. But because you were willing to do that, I was willing to teach you unreservedly. So the thing is, like, my friends, good times will end, bad times will end. What matters most is our courage to put our left foot in front of our right foot and to keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. Okay. So later on, my screen share, please. Yeah, so these are some later on when I built my career very quickly, and these are some of the work that I've done. British Tops model Jimmy Choo and Jackie Chan. These are some of the accolades I've gotten. Now, this is a slide just to show you. When you have influence and authority, you don't hoard it yourself. And if you're from Malaysia, the gentleman next to me owns one of the biggest franchise in Malaysia in bubble tea. It's called Tea Life, and there's Miss Malaysia and other entrepreneurs, and we were doing a nation building project. So this is what happens when you have networking and also the personal branding. You can contribute to a bigger good. So despite willing to learn and having good mentors, my business, I still struggle. I remember there was time that I had to go, because I shared my car with my mom, into the car and look through the carpet and try to accumulate RM1. Now, RM1 is like 30 Aussie cents or whatever. And I have to buy this nasi lemak bungkus. I think most of us, this nasi lemak bungkus, and I have to share it with my mom for a prolonged period. What changed? What changed was later on, I did something, what we call personal branding and networking. Now I only know it from a hindsight, because at that time, these two things was not even invented yet, but now we know what it is called. So of course, a personal brand has allowed me to partner with big brands like Sony, Western Digital, Standard Chartered, and HTC. That year, Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. was the global ambassador. So I was proud to be the Malaysian celebrity to launch that phone. So of course, we do talks like Youth Summit and empower others. So this is like the Citibank's chairman of the Southeast Asia and all. So we come together to give it away, give it away, give it away. So what are the three things? I won't. So how do you start? You Google yourself, see how are you showing up, because the branding process is know, like, trust. If people do not know you, they're not going to like you. If they do not like you, they're not going to trust you. Okay, so start Google yourself, see whether you are showing up or not, and you're showing the right places. And the thing that is showing up, is it relevant? Does it show you actively? Don't be too negative. The only thing that you should be negative about is your COVID results. Other than that, please be positive. Okay, so moving on forward. So 3 principles to quickly take away. So give without remembering, result without forgetting. Now, some people ask me, how do I get to meet the Prime Minister of Malaysia? I think I don't have time for any other stories. But there was one day while I was gaining traction after 2 years in my career, I went to this function. I saw this little this gentleman. He was quite old and he's quite frail. He has this little camera, a very old camera, and it was like from a wartime. He was taking picture, and the strap there has kind of like a plastic, sort of like a stapler. So I just wanted to offer a friendship. I say, hello, uncle, how are you? My name is Kit. He looked at me very puzzled, and he looked at me and said, you want to know me? I said, yeah, if you don't mind, I'm a photographer. Actually, I was trying to help him to see whether I could be of any value to him. And we chatted, and then later he gave me his card. I look at the card, and it's like, he's actually, now I know a lot of insurance agents today do a lot of big business, but this is in the early 2000s. So I at the time I was young and I'm a bit shallow. I look, I say, uncle is side hustling, maybe uncle is a bit struggling. So we parted ways, we have a good chat. 2 weeks later, he called me and said, hey kid, this is George. Do you remember me? I say, yeah, I remember you. I say, hey kid, I got a job for you in my heart and in my head, in my head and in my heart. I say, uncle, you can keep it yourself, I think you need some job. He said, no. He said, young man, you listen to me. If you want this job, I think you're the right man for it. I'll say, okay. And then later, before I could say, you meet me in the High Court next Tuesday. I thought, wow, this gets stranger and stranger. But do you know who was the gentleman that he led me to meet? He led me to meet the Chief Justice of Malaysia. Which is very powerful, by constitution, same power as Prime Minister. And that gentleman, just now, he wasn't a struggling photographer. He wasn't struggling insurance salesman. He was a living legend and it's the first MDRT $1 million roundtable for in Malaysia. And he was just adding value to his clients. And because of that, the Chief Justice, after about a few months later, hosted the son's wedding. In that wedding, there's the first time that I saw the king was there, 3 other sultans was there, the prime minister, deputy prime minister, and the future prime ministers was there. And that was the first time I met the prime ministers of Malaysia. And subsequently, I met him many times through my work as well. So of course, I won't talk about this story. I think my time is almost up. And another thing is, I gave a talk at this youth conference for this young gentleman who invited me. Later on, he developed multiple unicorns and some of the biggest company like Groupon and Faith. I never knew he was going to grow. So today you want to invest in relationship, because by the time when people somebody that people think, hey, you go digga. No, but you build relationship over time. You look at this picture, there was the former YB, which I just connected with on Clubhouse today, and also the CEO of Sunway Education. One of the biggest education in Asia. And so the power of one connection is very important. A lot of people is stuck with the ego metrics. They want big numbers, but the thing is like quality can come from very little quantity. Just this lady that connected 20 years ago very quickly. She was she was a hotel manager, and later she became a GM of Le Cordon Bleu, one of the biggest institutions, 120 years old, very prestigious worldwide. And because of that, we did this exhibition together in collaboration with them. And in this photo alone, there's about 600,000 eyeballs minimum because of the IG following. And of course, a lot of corporate company hosted us as well. And they give us a bigger footprint in Europe. And the thing is, like, a great relationship is not a rope that ties, but the many stitches to bind. So many people, when I post a photo of my friend who is CEO, one of the biggest company in Malaysia, they say, do you really know her? I say, well, what do you mean? Then she said, people think they go to a place and take some picture and then they become best of friends, but it's not. Just look at Dr. Elizabeth Lee. This is a photo of her, and over through the years, and the Raja Perempuan Besar of Perak, and you see different stages of life. So every day, we are even in like marriage, we are stitching our relationship together, or we are unstitching it. So we build relationship one at a time. And this is a formula. If you are on Clubhouse, do connect. I won't talk about it. If you want to build more relationship today, do not overlook audio. Audio is the next big thing on social media, because there's currently 200 big platforms, and Spotify has launched it, Facebook has launched it, and of course the most popular currently is Clubhouse. If you're there, look for me. And finally, networking is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're gonna get. I won't even tell you how I get to meet. I think most people who have been to Malaysia visited Genting. I met the president of Genting at a coffee shop. No, I met his wife at a coffee shop, and that's how we got connected. And with that, believe and take massive action. I think my time is up. Thank you so much, guys. You guys have been amazing audience. Do stay connected. Thank you so much. And back to you. Magic begins when you dream. Miracles happens when you do.
Thank you very much, Kate. So one very simple question for you, for example, if I'm a very timid person, I'm a very introvert person, you're talking about networking, right? How should I start? I think this is a challenge for a lot of people, especially Asian. So do you have some advice for them?
Okay, introverts listened.
Yeah.
Extrovert also listened. Introverts rules the world. Think Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. They are all introverts. You guys got great ideas. It's just that you forgot to speak. And the thing, when people think about networking, I just want to leave this. I don't take any much more time. When people think about networking, they always think about the people they have yet to meet. But your network already exists. Your family is your network. You like them, you don't like them, there's your network. Your old schoolmates are your network. Your former colleagues are your network. Start from there.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kate. This is
Thank
very
you so much.
insightful information for us. So, thank you. So next we have Dr. Budima. So let me give you guys a little bit of background about Dr. Budima. So she is an academic. So hi, Dr. Budima. So she is an academic, a researcher, and a journalist, and a scholar, and also a TEDx speaker. So she is one of the youngest PhD holder of South Asia who graduated at 24 years old when she get her PhD from University of Peradeniya in the field of cybersecurity. So she is also a proud alumni of Curtin Malaysia, Australia, and Sri Lanka Institute of Information Technology. She holds 10 years experience in her academic career, and also a decades in media as a presenter of Sri Lanka Rupawahini Corporations. So she is the former head of computer science at the School of Computing and Engineering and currently serves as head student life and engagement at the National Institute of Business Management. She was internationally recognized at the Top 50 Women's Award 2018 for her leadership excellence in information technology. She was also awarded the Youngest Charter Professional Fellows Manager at CIPM Award Ceremony 2019. She served as a task force member of the policy formulations of the new education reform of Minister of Education of Sri Lanka. So there's so many achievements here. So yeah, it's really nice for us to have someone like her to talk to us today. So Dr. Budima, are you ready to present about your topic
Yes.
today? Okay, so
Yes.
I'll pass the stage to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julius, for that wonderful introduction indeed. Well, leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. Are you a leader? Ask this question from yourself. Am I a leader? Now, one would say, well, I've not thought about it. One might say, well, maybe I'm a leader. One might say, well, I'm the batch rep of the Curtin University batch that I'm studying in right now, and I am a leader, of course. My friends, ever since the day we've been gifted to this world, you and me, we've been leading our lives. Hence, we are all leaders. But the question is, are we leaders with a vision, a leader with a goal, a leader with a focus to achieve ourselves in life, to become greater human beings, to become greater people in life? Now, let me tell you a few steps and skills that you can inculcate in yourselves to become visionary leaders. Leaders with a vision, a leader with a focus, a goal, and an aim in life. Point number one, discover yourself. Now, you might ask me how to discover ourselves. Well, two things to be done. One, become a problem solver. Two, become a risk taker. Let me tell you a little bit about my story. It all started when I was 2.5 years old. I was a little kid and I was pushed to a school. Both my parents were very busy. Mom worked at Ministry of Higher Education of Sri Lanka, dad at Sri Lanka Customs Department, super busy parents. And no sooner they wanted to push me to a school as sooner as possible so that they can manage their work life as well. So there I entered school when I was only 2.5. Life was hectic, terrible, terrific. I started getting bullied big time in school. Now, if I ask this question from you, how many of you have got bullied in school, maybe in university? I think it relates to most of us. In some or the other way, we would have got bullied. Yes, but I've got bullied big time. Just imagine if you're locked up in the washroom for the rest of the time in school, and maybe if your lunch money is stolen, your lunch is stolen, your textbooks to your notebooks are all stolen. What sort of bullying is that? Life was difficult, hectic. All my peers were veiled to me. And there were difficulty in the peers handling the fact that the teachers were getting more closer to me and they were paying more attention to me in class. So this became worse. Grades passed, and there I come to grade 2, prize award ceremony, the annual prize award ceremony. I was seated right at the back, watching the prize award ceremony begin. My parents were not around. Why? Because I didn't have any prize or award or certificate in that prize giving. I was an average student trying my best to manage the grades with the marks that I can gain to just get myself promoted to the next grade, with the difficulties that I was going through, with the bullying that I was going through, coming back home each and every day and asking one thing from my mom, to homeschool me. That was the only thing I requested from her. So there I was seated right at the back, watching this prize award ceremony. Tears rolling down my cheeks, I was watching how certain kids' names were called up on stage. And then they rush to the stage and carry the certificates, the trophies, the class prizes, subject prizes, whatnot. And they come back home, give it to their parents, and their parents, they go saying, yeah, that's my son, that's my daughter who is rushing to get those certificates. She did so well this year. And after the prize award ceremony, they get the opportunity to stay up for photographs and pictures and whatnot, acknowledgement, appreciation, recognition from the teachers, fellow classmates, principal, all of them. I was watching. Wow, what a lot of happiness is that kid, or rather those kids, are having in class, in school. And why am I being the only one who is creating the school, college, a hell, and thinking that this is the worst place I can be in? Why can't I change? I was asking this question from myself. Now you might ask me, when you were in grade 2, did you really think so big? Yes, I did. Because with all of the bullying that I had been going through, life was not easy. With tears rolling down my cheeks, I was watching this scene and I was thinking to myself, Buddhima, you need to change. You need to change yourself for the betterment of your life. And I was determined that I was going to use education as the only weapon that's going to help myself to stand up with my ground. And I was really determined that education is going to be the only weapon that's going to help me take the next step forward in life without creating a worst case scenario out of my life in school and becoming the worst kid in the class. And there I go back home, determined, confident, and changed Buddhima. And there I was. I started taking my books and studying very well for the exam. And I was thinking, just like those kids brought happy smiles to their faces and to the parents, I would also one day be able to bring happy tears and smiles to my parents' face as well. Because I know how much my parents went through because I was getting bullied each and every day in school. And just imagine coming back home and requesting the parents to be homeschooled every single day. The pressure that parents go through, it was very difficult, but they had no option but to still send me to the school. So I come back home, pick my books up, and there I started studying very hard. Grade 3, first term examination. I was able to excel in all subjects with over 85% of an average and become the first in the class. Second term, the same. Third term, the same. And then comes the annual prize giving ceremony. And there I was seated proudly with my parents next to me. And I was able to also walk up on stage just like those other kids did and carry those trophies and certificates proudly, bringing happy tears to my parents' face and also me becoming a happier kid after all. So friends, that day I realized that education was the only weapon that's going to help me transform myself to become a better leader in life. Discover yourself. Discover the true potential that lies within you, and only you can do it. We individuals, only we can do it. Become a problem solver. Always we will be coming through a lot of problems in life. But if we only keep worrying about those problems, there'll be 2 problems at the end of the day. Become a problem solver. Now let me tell you how I was a risk taker once. So there I was. I finished my ordinary level examination when I was 13 years old. When I was 15, I finished my advanced level examination. And there I was entering university when I was only 16. life was not easy once again. And studying university modules at the age of 16 was a tough task. Certain modules were difficult. I still remember going and sitting at different other batch classes also to learn the same module twice to make sure that I get a better grade for my university modules. And then I come to Curtin University. Entering Curtin University was a fantastic experience. Modules that I had to learn and go through were quite different to what I learned at Sri Lanka Institute of Information Technology in my bachelor's. And the way the modules were taught were quite different. We had like 4 to 5 reference books to be referred, so many notes to be prepared, lot of material to be grasped. And I was thinking, wow, challenges make life interesting and meaningful. And we had a team who got together and we shared knowledge and our experiences. When one person learns one module in the best possible way, he or she comes and probably shares the knowledge amongst the other team members. We did a lot of past papers together every single day. After lectures, we stayed back and tried attempting past papers. A lot of things we did together to make sure that we move forward in getting our grades. That was back in Curtin University. So then coming back where I took a risk in life, I finished my undergraduate studies successfully when I was 19 with a double degree from Sri Lanka Institute of Information Technology and also Curtin University back then. And there I was, joining Sri Lanka Institute of Information Technology as a lecturer. Now, joining university staff as a lecturer when I was only 20 years old was also a little bit of a challenge. Why? Because the students I had to teach were at least 5 to 6 years elder to me in the first batch that I got to teach. But then I started researching and I found that there are creative mechanisms that you can get your students engulfed in your lecture to make sure that you create an active-based platform for them, make it interactive. So I was researching a lot on how I can make sure that I become an example to these kids out there and tried my best to become a different lecturer. And there I was, becoming one of the lecturers who were loved by the faculty students. And it was becoming a better place for me to continue my teaching as a lecturer. However, when I was turning 21, I realized by the time I was 20 years, I started pursuing my PhD in computer science, specializing in security. And then I realized that I need to really make this decision in terms of converting my PhD from part-time to full-time to keep a record, to become the youngest PhD holder in South Asia. And it was a very, very difficult decision to make. I was very comfortable lecturing in the university. And, you know, in Sri Lanka, when it comes to a lady, there are certain traditions and cultures we go through in a cultural background that we are brought up with. It's like for a lady in Sri Lanka, there's a book that's written for us. We need to go to school, graduate, then we go to university, we graduate, we then enter, we get an appointment for a job, we settle down, then we are supposed to get married, have kids. So, you know, if not, there'll be 1,001 people who would question you to ask, oh, so you're not even getting married? You want to give up on your job? Why would you even want to do it? Seriously? You're only studying right now and you're not even doing a job? You left your job? So these are the questions people would ask you. Your neighbors will have 1,001 worries. Your relatives will have 1,001 worries. And life becomes very difficult. Now, with all of this, I walk up to my parents and I tell them, I will be resigning tomorrow from my job. And then my parents were devastated. They were worried. And they were telling me, what are we going to tell our relatives? You had a good job and now you're resigning it because you want to continue your studies. Why can't you do it doing your work as well? Then, with the greatest difficulty, I was able to convince them, to tell them I'm doing this for a cause. I want to achieve a record in my life. So please let me do it. And there I was. At the age of 24, I was able to graduate as the youngest PhD holder. And then once again, I got back into academics, and here I am sharing my experiences and expertise with you all today. So, dear friends, discover yourself. To discover the true potential that lies within you, make sure that you become a problem solver. Do not only keep worrying about problems in life, because you own your life. You need to write the story of your life with your pen. The moment you let that pen flip, somebody else will pick it up and somebody else will start writing your story. It can be your neighbor. It can be the person who is sitting next to you. It can even be your grandma. Do you want to live the life of another person, or do you want to live the dream, the goal of your life? Talk to your heart. I truly believe that there are two important days to our life. The day we are gifted to this world and the day we find the meaning why, the purpose of our life. Have you found the purpose of your life? Are you living the purpose of your life? Well, I'm living the purpose of my life. The purpose of my life is to inspire, empower, and to give wings. And here I am doing it. For a lot of academic students, being an academic myself, talk to your heart. What is the purpose of your life? And live that purpose. Very important in your journey to become a visionary leader. Point number 2. Now, point number 1 was discover yourself. Point number 2 is effective communication. Are you an effective communicator? How many times do we come across in our family, amongst our peers, subordinates at office? We go through
Okay. Hi, everyone. I think there is some technical problem there. So we have to thanks Bodima for the sharing sessions. It's so, how do you say, unfortunate that I cannot personally ask her a question because her session is very inspiring, and I would like to ask her some questions like, how do you find your purpose and stuff like that to guide people like me who might not know about my purpose. So yeah, so her talk, it was a very inspirational talk. Like she talked about how we should actually look into ourselves to see what you really want to do in life. With the social medias and everything, people start to be, there are too many ideas given to you, like how should you live your life. You should be workout, you should be doing this, you should be reading this, or else you are not living your life. So but the world, is that how the world should be? Because the problem is there are a lot of people should be able to define their way of life if we are living a free world. So okay, yeah, we have Budima back to us. Yeah, so I was trying to tell the audience like what is your whole conversations about. It's about finding purpose in ourselves and things like that, because in current world, in the social media's world, everyone is trying to telling you how you should live your life. You should be eating this to be healthy. You should be doing this if you want to be a successful person. You should be doing this, and how success is defined is also defined by the social. So so what is your thought on this? Like, in the world, like everyone is forcing an idea about what you should be, and how should we deal with this kind of idea given by others?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that question, indeed, Julius. Coming back to the point that I was in before, we were talking about the first point that was the most important of discovering yourself, in the process of discovering yourself, make sure that you become a problem solver and a risk taker in life. Point number 2, be an effective communicator. Now, how do we become an effective communicator in life? Talk to yourself. Are you a good listener? Are you a good negotiator? Yes. In most cases, we overhear, don't we? But rarely we take action for what we've heard for and what we've been listening. Yes, that is the case. So in most cases, we hear a lot of things, but we rarely take action. So make sure that you are a person who listens very well as a leader, as a visionary leader, and at the same time, a person who negotiates very well. Now, did you know that every single moment of your life, you negotiate with yourself, right? Now, what am I doing right now? I'm negotiating with you all, right? I'm talking to you all. I'm trying to message to you all, right?
I think there is some,
so just like that.
But I think there is some kind of influence there, and we can't really hear you correctly. But that's really great presentations you did. It's about, I mean, it's really inspiring, especially for today's topics. We are talking about dreams, right? And I think it's already 4 o'clock now, so I don't want to overrun the whole session for too long. So maybe we will invite all of the speakers up now to say goodbye to the audience. And I may have one last question for all of you. So, okay, now we have a lot of topics today to cover, like from child marriage and to the next, which is emotional intelligence, and then we have kids talk about how networking can help in your careers and in your pursuing of dreams. And in the end, we have Bodhima who share about how your self-inspiration, your self-innovate enthusiasm can bring you to what you want. So as a closing note for today, I would like to ask all of the speakers to give one suggestion on...
Julius, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay. So I have one question for all of you here. So if I think a lot of people who are in their 30s or 40s might already know what they are doing now. So for those younger audience, what do you think is the thing they need to do, especially in the times when the grandfather story might not be applicable anymore? So they are in a generation that they need to find their own path now. So maybe we can start with Harry first. What is your suggestion for the young generation?
Harry, you're mute.
Harry, you're muting your mic.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Julius. I think it is important to have our own voice. I think, yeah, we have our own voice, our own dream is, yeah, with child marriage, etc. I think we have to have our own voice to pursue our dreams and for the future.
Have his own voice. Okay. So how about Paul? What did you think? What is the most important thing for the younger generation now to face the future?
Regardless of age, we are all emotional people. I want to say we all have emotions. I think it's even more important now than ever because of social media. We get so real time to express our emotion and you express wrongly. So regardless of which media, whether be it communication or expressing it to all the different types of social media, be wary of our emotions and try not to have the other person denote a very different you.
So it will be emotional intelligence. So how about kids? It's about, what kind of skill for your dream?
Hi, Julius. Thank you so much. That's a great question. I think just now, as I've said, everything is very contextual. So age is also very contextual. Compared to me, you're very young. But if you compare me to Dr. Mahathir, I'm very young.
Yeah.
So my first question is, what do you think is your biggest asset? I mean, as a young person, right? The biggest asset is time. Okay. Of course, it's not either or. So this is one extreme of it is time, right? So let's say you are like fresh grad, 20, there's 6 months in a year. You go try something. Then you take 2 years, you try 4 things. And then you're only 22. And then you try another 2 years, you try 8 things. And then you try another year, you try 10 things. Now, I do not know what you like, but I'm quite sure you know what you don't like. So you never find yourself looking inwards. You find yourself interacting with outwards. So you got to try more things. On the other extreme of things, another argument is we do not need more motivation in life. We need more clarity. And Bruce Lee actually said it is the daily decrease that's more important in the daily increase. What are the non-essentials? But if those who want to get a bit of clarity, do DM me on Instagram. I have 2 videos done. It's not a funnel. You can go and do it on yourself. It's for people to help find their goals and gain a bit more clarity. Back to you, Julius. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kate. Thank you very much, Kate. So I think that's all for today. It's a really good session.
Before you end, I think maybe Julius, you should answer that question too. What's your advice for the younger people? Because you relatively, then you're not, you're much older. Relatively.
Okay. So if I really need to give, I think is really don't really listen to others. I mean, not by stubborning, but sometimes people need to believe in themselves. There are too many opinions out there about how you should behave, how you should talk. No matter how good you are, you will never be good enough. So I think believe in yourself is one of the most important things in current age, especially, social media, everyone can have an opinion on you and they don't need to be responsible for that. So I think that's one important skill every youngster and everyone have to learn now by not taking this kind of opinion personally. Yeah.
Right. And welcome back, Budima. Awesome to see you back here. Question. Maybe Julius, you can ask the question again to Budima.
Okay. So yeah, the question is very
Sorry,
simple.
I think there was a signal issue on my end. Something happened. Yeah.
No
Apologies for it.
Yeah, the question is very simple. Just one skill that you think is most important for the youngster now to address the changing world. Yeah.
Yes, I think I stopped from being an effective communicator, where you need to become a good listener and also a good negotiator in life. And the third and the final point that I wanted to highlight is emotional intelligence. One of the most important gems in my life that helps me take the next step forward in the corporate ladder is emotional intelligence. Do we really think from another's feet? Do we really think in another's perspective before we take a step in life in terms of communicating or maybe coming up with a decision that we are going to execute? So talk to your heart and see. These are the 3 most important jewels that I wanted to share with you all today in terms of being a visionary. Number 1, to discover yourself, to discover the true potential that lies within you, become a problem solver and a risk taker, and also become an effective communicator. How do we become an effective communicator? Become a good listener and also a good negotiator, because every single moment of our lives, we will be negotiating with ourselves to make a decision in our life for the betterment, to become a better human being and for ourselves as well as for the people around us. And at the same time, emotional intelligence. Think in another person's feet. Have empathy. When you take steps in the ladder of leadership to reach the pinnacle of success in life, because dreams can be achieved and accomplished in life if the right action is taken towards its achievement. And at the same time, always and always remember, in the journey of becoming a visionary leader, a leader with a focus, a leader with a goal, a leader with an aim in life, do not remember to discover the potential that lies within you, to become a good communicator, and at the same time, be a person who is respectable, have emotional intelligence. Those are important lessons that I would like to share with all of you that has helped me become who I am today. Back to you, Julius.
Okay. So, yeah. So, Jane, do you want to talk? So, one last note before everyone leaves. Yeah,
Sorry.
that's a very fantastic sharing. So, one last note before everyone leaves is about the e-certificate of attendance. So, Jane, do you want to tell everyone about
You
how?
guys want to have an e-certificate for participating in our webinar today. I hope that you guys will be able to go here, scan this, and then go get your certificate of attendance. So we need you to complete the attendance form. So scan the barcode to get an access to the link below, which is actually the registration link. And then once you give us your details on the registration link, we will be able to give you your certificate. So thank you guys so much for this fantastic session. I think we're pretty much on time, so that's pretty good. I do want to address one last thing though before you guys go. I think that you guys gave me fantastic sharing. Everyone follow your dreams, go take charge of your life. I like what Kit and Udima has mentioned, which is take action, which is very, very important. I especially liked Paul's, all his different things that he mentioned, that was very interesting.
Emotional intelligence, how to deal with ourselves. And also the social issue that might actually stop others from pursuing their dream, which Harry says. Yeah.
I think what Harry has mentioned is actually quite important. Harry, do you mind if you bring up your last slide, which you had previously? The last slide. Can you tell us what can we do to stop child marriages? I think this is very important. All of you guys, you have wife and kids and whoever who's around you, please educate them. Very, very important, right? And Harry, please do tell us, how do we stop child marriages? That's, I think, would be a good ending note for all of us.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Thank you, Jane. Yeah. I will share.
That's the last.
The last. I think 1 minute.
Yeah, the last closing note.
The last closing. Yeah. I think we have to equip the children actually, so that they can pursue their dreams. They can have these bargaining powers to negotiate with parents. I think Kit, Paul, and Budima already mentioned that how important for us to following our dream and pursuing taking charge. So I think it is also important for the children themselves to for them to pursue their dream also, and we can provide this comprehensive intervention for them. I think not only Indonesia but also around the world by developing this comprehensive intervention from individual level to policy level. I think it is still a long way to go, but I think we can support this fight against child marriage. I think that's all, Jane. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And because most of you are fathers, I think Kit mentioned he has 3 kids, right? And Paul, do you have kids? Yes, one. Dr. Budima, do you have kids?
My age?
Not yet.
Not yet. All right. I think for all of us, children are very precious. They're the new generation. One last word for all our viewers before we go. Harry, what do you want to say? Anything.
Anything. Okay. Keep following your dream and taking charge. So for me actually, I hope this Curtin Alumni Asia Inspiring Talks, Jane, we can continue to have this collaboration in the future. I think it's a great opportunity for us, to have this discussion, sharing from many countries in Asia. I think share our experience, our knowledge, I think it's very great to keep inspiring all. I think it will be the continuous project in the future. Thank you, Jane.
Yes, thank you so much, CUACI, for inspiring the first one. Hopefully, Singapore, Sri Lanka, maybe you can take on the third or the fourth one, right?
Yes.
Agree.
Let's hear from Paul. What's your last ending words before we go? Parting words.
What? Empower yourself. Don't let the current situation dampen your spirits. Right?
Okay.
We can do so much. There's a lot for us to do.
Wow.
Okay. And I think today's topic is very good because it talks about all the different aspects in the current situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and we need to reimagine Asia in a post-pandemic world. Thank you so much, Paul.
Without child marriage.
Child marriage. Yeah. Without child marriage will be good.
Oh, so passionate about that too. Kit, come, let's hear from you. Parting words.
parting words.
Thank you so much. I just want to thank the organizers for putting this together and all the speakers who's taken time. And I think my parting words is, none of us is going to be better than all of us together. And as iron sharpens irons, one man sharpens another. Most importantly, I talk about networking. There's also information and action policy. You could take it away as something that had entertained you, or we can actually work it together and grow together. So stay connected. And thank you so much. Back to you, Jane.
Thank you so much. And you guys can follow Kit on Instagram. Go look him up, all right? Pudima, Tham, what's your last parting words? Thank you so much, Kit.
Yes, indeed. I'd like to suggest, just like what we are doing right now, trying to become role models for the rest of the university community, you also can do the same. Have a role model in life, because role models will help you take that very next step, provided you're going through a struggling and a difficult moment in life. Just like we are trying to share our insights and experiences with you all today to help you all grow. So at the same time, do not only stop having a role model for your life to take that very next step forward, but also become a role model to many more out there and share your experiences and share your insights and learnings, because it's very important that we share our insights for the betterment of the future generations to come. That's my last message for you all.
Thank you so much, Pudima. So thank you so much, Curtin Alumni Asia. Thank you so much, Julius. I want your parting words too, Julius.
I think for those, my parting word is very direct. So for those who are from Indonesia and graduate from Curtin, please join Curtin Indonesia chapter. And for those who are from Malaysia, please join Malaysia chapter. And please join your chapter respectively. We need more of us to make this a stronger event and stronger organization.
Yes, and if you guys do want to come and talk for us or share some inspiring things, please do connect with us, right? So thank you guys so much, and thank you so much, Curtin Malaysia, for hosting this StreamYard session for us. And we'll go to our parting video, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.